You're welcome to another edition of the Learning Lunch. And today we have a fantastic, brilliant guest, a very special guest in our midst today. Very special to me because he's an old run student. And he honestly, I believe that you're going to really benefit from his input today and his experience. His name is Deji Daramola. And he's now the CEO of Eminent um, Estate and also the CEO of Narrogates Group. Um, I'm going to hand over to Deji now, and he's going to just tell us about himself and also share his career journey with us. Deji, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. So yeah, hello, I'm Deji, and I attended the John Rowan Secondary School. I left for university in 2010. I'll put up a PowerPoint presentation now just to go through my time at John Rowan University and career moving on to business. So yep, I'll upload the slide now. Oh, I think I need to be given access.
You now have access.
Brilliant. Oh, I need to find it. Won't be a second. Here we are. Right, so yeah, I'm Deji. That's me on the right. I currently run a business, a property management and lettings business called Eminent Estates. And I also have a property investment and development company called Narrowgate Group. So what I specialize in is creative property investment. I'm an investor myself, and I also work with people who want to invest and build a property portfolio. So that's me. So I'll tell you a bit about my journey from school to university, my career, and what I'm currently doing now. So, as I mentioned, I went to the John Rowan Secondary School and sixth form. I mean, the John Rowan it's a great school, and from what I've seen and heard, it's getting better and better a year by year. I still remember getting on the 386 right outside Westcombe Park to enter school. I think the bus is still there. I don't live in London anymore, but yeah. I mean, being at John Rowan was great. I mean, some of my greatest memories was sports day, 100 meters. My aim from year 7 to year 11 was to always become first, but I always had one person that beat me every year, and his name was Joshua. Joshua is actually now a medical doctor, Dr. Joshua, I should call him. And he beat me every year from year 7 to year 11. I always took second or third place. But that's, some of the great memories I had at the John Rowan School. I made great friends there. Some I'm still in contact with today, and some I'm not in contact with, but I'm hearing great things about them. So that's good. Um, so yeah, I mean, I went to sixth form also at the John Rowan. I studied business, obviously, with Mr. Daganduro. He's a great teacher. I also studied government and politics, and I studied media. So at sixth form, I had made my mind up with what I wanted to do when I go to university. My aim was to go to the University of Kent to study law and to become a solicitor. And that was my goal. That was where I was heading to. But of course, we had our A-level exams and things didn't turn out as I had planned. So I didn't quite meet the grades to get into the University of Kent. At the time, I was so upset. It was my dream and everything. And yeah, it just didn't work out that way. And I ended up accepting an offer at the University of Bedfordshire in Luton. So that's where I studied, and that's where I currently live. So I studied law at the University of Bedfordshire, and probably halfway through, I'll never say I regret studying law. It was probably one of the best decisions I made. But halfway through, I realized it wasn't for me. It wasn't something that I wanted to pursue further. I began to develop a passion for business and entrepreneurship. And, coming from a family that's involved in property, I've always had that interest and passion. So I did finish my law degree. I graduated. I went on to work. I carried out a few roles. And then I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do my master's. So also at the University of Bedfordshire, I did a master's of business administration. And, all the way from school right up to even university, I used to get average grades. So I wasn't an A student. I used to get the B's and the C's, sometimes D's. But, when I started my master's, I realized something happened to me. I think it's a change of mindset. And once that mindset change kicked in, I became a straight A student. I mean, the minimum I was getting was probably a B. I was doing very well. And at that point, I realized, it's just a mindset thing. And once my mind changed, I began to excel in everything I began to do. And it was really amazing. I even finished my law degree. I did quite well. My MBA, I came out with flying colors. I mean, compared to what I got at my A level and what I did at my master's, you'd think it's two totally different people, but I did it, and I think it's all down to a change of mindset. So again, after finishing my MBA, sorry, I'll go back one. I went on to take a graduate role at a company called First Port. They are the largest leasehold property management company in the UK. I was on a graduate program there. It's an interesting role because you need to know a bit of law, a bit of accounting, and obviously have the skills as a leasehold property manager. So I was managing developments across the UK from different sectors. I had some sections in London that I also managed as well, and it was really great. So at that point, my contract came to an end. I was offered another job within the same company, but it involved a lot of traveling, and it wasn't something I was willing to do. So I then got a job at another company, similar role. I did that for 6 months, but then I realized it's time for me to move on and start my business. So that's when I started Eminent Estates. Eminent Estates is a property management and lettings business. So we manage properties on behalf of landlords and investors. And yeah, we just pretty much take care of their properties and make sure it's all up to date and all up to date on current legislation. And on the other hand, again, my passion is to invest in property. So I started a property investment company. So I started to gradually build a buy to let portfolio. And I also began a service for people who wanted to invest their funds into property but didn't necessarily have the time because of career and things like that. So I began a portfolio building business. So we work with different investors, find them good property investment. We deal with the whole process from the putting in an offer to the completion of the sale, and then we pass it over to my management company, Eminent Estates, who will then manage that portfolio. And so far, it's been going great. It's, of course, every business has its challenges, but managed to overcome it, and we're doing better and better year by year. So right now, I'm currently again building a buy to let portfolio and looking at a few potential developments as well. So this is my biggest achievement so far. We're currently working on this property. It's currently a 19-bed HMO. A HMO simply means a house of multiple occupants. So this is a very old and rundown property, and we are converting it into 14 apartments. So this is my biggest project so far, and it has a gross development value. What that means is once it's done, the value of the whole development is going to be in excess of 3 million. So it's quite a big development, and it's quite a great achievement, and I'm really happy about that. And if I can do it, I believe anybody can. I'm from London. Grew up in the same way. Went to the John Rowan, went to sixth form, went to uni, and just focused on what I believed in. And here I am today. Um, and I just thought I'd share a typical day. What happens in the mornings? I tend to try to do a bit of exercise and reading in the morning. I receive a daily email of breakdown of what's happened over the last 24 hours in the office, and an email of potential property deals that we could look at and go to tender on, really. And then at some point in the day, about 10, 11 o'clock, I find my way to the office. Well, I'm at home today, but on a normal day, I'll find my way to the office and, do whatever needs to be done and go through the weekly financials. What's gone good, what's gone bad, what do we need to improve on? And this is something that we do on a weekly basis. So yeah, that's pretty much a day in my life anyway. I don't know if I've got, yeah, I think that's about it. If you have any questions you'd like to ask me or anything you want me to elaborate on.
Ah, fantastic, Deji. Wow, that's awesome. Um, One question that I would just like to ask is this. You talked about you working for a while and then you went into uh, property management. Did you have that ambition before? Was it as a result of the fact that you had the opportunity to work in a property development company that you got the idea from, or how did that happen?
Right. So yeah, again, I've always had a passion for property. It's something that I've always wanted to do. But when I was younger, I was trying to put all the puzzles together. But in life, it doesn't always happen that way. You've got to start somewhere before you get to your end destination. There's no perfect pathway. So I couldn't start because I couldn't put the perfect puzzle together. But then when I got this job, I realized, wow, this is really possible. Maybe this is an avenue I can start from. I began to, learn key things, the way the company carries out their activities and their policies and the way they treat staff and things like that. It's a really amazing company to work for, by the way. And then from there, I thought, yeah, you know what? I can do this. And I gave it a go. I gave it a go. I took the risk and I'm so glad that I did.
Ah, well done. That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Thank you very much for that. And so far, so good. What has been? Can you please highlight some of the challenges that you felt that you faced, and how did you surmount those challenges along the way, along the pathway?
Yeah, right. I mean, with business, there's always going to be a lot of challenges. You could have a forecast of what you project your business to achieve by this date, but sometimes it doesn't meet that, especially with the pandemic, for example. That's the most recent example. March of last year, we went into a lockdown. There's so many property transactions going through. The property market was closed, and it's like, what could we really do? We're working with different investors, and it just it didn't go as planned. And sometimes honesty is the best thing. Realistically, we had to go back and say, look, this is beyond our control. This is not something we could do. And we just had to renegotiate. I think the most important thing is, if you've already built a good relationship with the people you're working with, if something were to go wrong, they know your character, they know you're a person of integrity, so they're not going to challenge you. They're going to trust what you're saying and say, fine, if that's the current situation, what do you suggest? What's the best thing? Whatever you say, we will go with it. So it's just about building that relationship, building that trust, and letting people know that you know what you're doing and you're in full control regardless of what's going on.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. You mentioned honesty. I believe that also that honesty is it's a major thing uh, that we all have to possess. I know sometimes that's very difficult in business. But I think it does work out at the end of the day when you have that relationship with your clients. What sort of looking back from your secondary school days, A level days at university, what sort of skills uh, do you think that you've been able to develop and that are really helping you now, that you're still using and still helping you now? Because this, I mean, looking at our students, and maybe they might be able to take one or two things from there to see, the relevance of having building those skills now, and what impact those skills will have on their future or on their career.
Right. For me, the most important thing is communication. You need to be able to communicate with everybody. Everybody. You need to be able to communicate. I think that's very important because, I mean, you're going to be dealing with people from all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of disciplines. And regardless of what field you decide to go into, if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, whatever you decide to do, communication is key. Because if you can communicate well, people will know you, they'll like you, and they'll trust you, and they'll want to work with you. You know, even in university, I think communication is key. In sixth form, you know, communication is key. If you're communicating with your teacher, if you're communicating with other students, it's key, so they can get to know your character, what you're about really, and you know, they get to know, like, and trust you. I think that's one of the most important things for me.
Thank you very much. And I mean, you are an entrepreneur anyway. Now that's what we could call you, an entrepreneur. So, uh,
Perfect.
what sort of skill set do you think that uh, an entrepreneur should possess? And I mean, you studied business in school. Did you? I mean, do you see any relevance as to what you studied and to what you're doing now? Is there any relevance to it? And I mean, is there anything you've learned or anything you've picked up, any knowledge that you've picked that you're using now? Is there any at all?
I mean, 100%, 100%. You know, sometimes when you're younger, you think, it's just school. You know, when I'm old, I probably wouldn't need it anyway. But 100%, there's been so many times I said to myself, I wish I took paid more attention in business, in during my A levels, during everything. Honestly, and I'm saying that genuinely, because it's later on in life you realize, wow, if I had done this way, I know this right now. And sometimes I look at things like, I should know this. I actually should know this, you know. And I get somebody else to come and show me. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember it's done this way and this way. So I think it's definitely important to pay attention in whatever it is you're doing and do it to the best of your ability. And when you've got good teachers around you, which I believe you do have, try to squeeze everything out of them, you know, that you can hold on to, because you may not need it right now. You may think, what's the relevance right now? But in future, you'll be thankful that you did squeeze all that you could out of them. So for anyone studying business with Mr. Daganduro, I'd say squeeze him like he's a sponge. Take everything out of him, because you don't know what's going to happen in the next few years, and you'll be thankful that you did, definitely.
That's good. I remember some years ago that you and your about two of your friends, you came around and you started a business by every means necessary. Then uh, a
Oh, you
live
remember
yeah,
that,
a
yeah?
live then.
You know that's actually one of my first business ventures. Actually, I started a clothing business while in my second year of uni, and it wasn't really a business. It was just something we did. We printed T-shirts and it said AMN on it, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's that? What's that? You know, can we get one? Where'd you get it from?" And then I thought, I don't know. You know, it's just something. And then that's when it was a light bulb moment. We thought, okay, this could be a business. We started printing. We went from just printing T-shirts and hoodies. We started doing the hats, the woolly hats, the snapbacks. We started doing these leather jackets. We actually went to full on designing. We won awards for best newcomer designer, and it actually became something great. But at some point down the line, I think towards the end of my undergrad, I had to put it on pause for some time, because I really just wanted to finish and focus. And I was made an offer to purchase the brand name. So that's when obviously that went away, and then I started looking onto other ventures as well. But yeah, that was a great start, and that's what gave me the confidence as well. I probably missed that out, to know that it is possible, because I just gave something a go. Again, I took all the risk. I wasn't rich. I didn't have all the money in the world. I put the little I had into it, and it produced. And I think it's just about coming out of your comfort zone, taking that risk, and taking the bold step, because you never know what could happen.
That's great. Well done. And so far, what have you really enjoyed? In your, I mean, in what you're doing. What exactly gives you thrill in what you're doing?
You know what? I think the most thing I'm grateful for is the opportunity to give back. So what I mean by that is, I see so many people that are interested in property, or want to get into property, and they don't know how, or because they've got this challenge or that challenge. just being able to help, being that point of contact, like this person can help you. I think it's really an achievement for me. You know, that somebody sees me as somebody they can trust to give their information, and I can assist them in any way to take them to where they want to be. It beats anything in this world for me personally. I'd say, yeah.
That's good. Well then, so in a way, at least you can say that confidently say that you've got fulfillment in what you're doing, and
100%.
that's very important in whatever we do. That's good. So, for young people who are, thinking of in line of and I mean, who are thinking in the entrepreneurial line, for their life, for their career, for their, whatever they want to do. What sort of advice would you give them? What sort of, tips would you give them?
Right. One thing I'll say is never too late and it's never too early to do something, but of course you need to do it within reason. If you're interested in any sort of business right now, begin to read up on it in your spare time. Let it become your hobby. Begin to when you're not when you haven't got exams, of course, when you've got a bit of free time in the summer holiday, for example, buy a book on, I don't know if you're into property, how to start in property. It's never too early, it's never too late. Just study, 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 so that when you are ready, you've got some key and foundational skills already that can advance you quickly. So I think it's important to begin to work on it now, but don't let it affect other things that you're currently involved in, such as school. Yeah,
That's very good. That's true. I mean, you mentioned the aspect of reading. It's very important. Knowledge is power, they say, and I
that's
agree
right.
with you. It's very important, and it's very relevant to our young people also that they need to read. And anyway, we're doing that so much now in school. We're encouraging them every time, every opportunity that we have in school now. We're pushing towards, encouraging young people to read. We have the dear time and all of those times. Those are the times that that the student really need to use effectively. So thank you so much for that. Um, in your journey so far, and looking at, I mean, you've studied law and you went to do an MBA. How has that been able to help you, even as an entrepreneur? How has that the knowledge that you have? How have they been able to help you? And in your daily work and your daily routine and what you've achieved so far.
Right. So, like I said before, one of the biggest things I'm grateful for was the opportunities to study law. Though I didn't go on to practice to become a solicitor, I'm still so grateful that I did. That even after that, I still went on to study more on contracts and, leases and things like that, because it's very important to what I do today. So when I get a legal contract, sometimes I understand it as well as my solicitor would understand it. Sometimes I can pinpoint certain things, tell this person to correct this, change this, because I've studied it and I have a level of understanding. Obviously, if something's over complex, that's why you have a solicitor. But the knowledge that I've gained from studying law, and it's, as I'll call it, a foundational knowledge, and some of the extra reading I've done after studying law, I think has really helped me in my journey in business, definitely.
Well done. That's fantastic. So no knowledge is lost in life. Whatever knowledge you're opportune to encounter, one way or the other, you will be able to use it in future. It has a relevance to whatever you're doing in
Yeah,
future.
exactly.
That's good. Because I mean, some students always say, "Oh, all these things, topics we're learning, I don't see any relevance to it." I don't see it. And now I say, no, you've one way or the other, you will have an encounter where that knowledge will be used, and to be to your own advantage if you take it to it now. That's good. Deji, it's been a fantastic time, with you today. I'm really, really grateful that you've spent part of your time today to come and share your experience with us. And I definitely, we will really, really be contacting you more, to see how you can support our younger people, particularly with mentoring and things like that. And it's been a great time. Thank you so
Pleasure.
much. Thank you so much.
Anytime,
Uh,
sir.
it's been a great day today, and I hope you've been able to learn and pick one or two things from today's session from Deji. uh, property expert today. Now we can say he's now a property expert now, and sharing his experience as a student, as an undergraduate, and also sharing his experience now. Going into the line of proper development, and I hope you've been able to gain one or two things and to see that he's been very resilient, he's been determined, and he's also shared some of his challenges with us today. And that yes, you can still, no matter how you start, it's how you finish that really matters. And Deji has been, a complete evidence of that, and I'm really really proud of him. So thank you very much, Deji. Thank you. So everyone,
Thank you, sir.
I would
Thank
say
you.
it's been great having you all, and we'll see you next week for another time of learning lunch. Take care. Bye.